They weren't just muscle cars, they were monsters in suits, big engines, plush seats, and zero apologies. While most American muscle roared loud and rough, these rare few did it with style and luxury cranked to the max. Some were too powerful for the street, others too fast for the rules. A few were banned from racing, some barely got built at all, but every one of them broke the mold. This is the story of 20 luxury-loaded muscle machines that went too far, and became legends because of it. The 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Rondine was a truly special version of the C2 Corvette, designed by the famous Italian studio Bertone, known for its elegant work. This car had a sleek, smooth, and very elegant look that was a big departure from the regular production Corvette's sharp lines and aggressive stance. It beautifully combined the raw power of a strong American V8 engine with the refined, sophisticated styling of European coach building. Chevrolet ultimately decided not to put it into full production, preferring to stick with their own in-house design direction for the Corvette. Only one single example of this unique car was ever made, making it an incredibly rare and truly unique piece of automotive art. This blend of strong American performance and beautiful Italian curves was a daring and bold idea that became a single, stunning, handcrafted car, a true collector's dream. The 1964 Pontiac Banshee 1XP833 was a small, sleek two-seater sports car that Pontiac really wanted to build. Their goal was to create a cheaper, more affordable rival to Chevrolet's popular Corvette, something sporty and accessible. It looked very modern for its time, with a long, flowing hood and a short, aggressive tail section hinting at its performance. Underneath, it was planned to use a strong V8 engine. However, General Motors, the parent company that owned both Pontiac and Chevrolet, got worried that the Banshee would directly compete with and take sales away from their flagship Corvette. Because of this internal conflict, GM quickly stopped the entire project. Only a few rare prototypes were built, effectively banning it from ever reaching car dealerships and showrooms. It was a bold idea for a smaller, faster Pontiac that never got its well-deserved chance to prove itself in the market. The 1965 Chevrolet Mach-E Shark II was an incredibly important concept car because it very strongly influenced the look of the third-generation Corvette that came out a few years later. It had truly wild and aggressive styling, featuring sharp, dramatic lines, huge, bulging fender flares over the wheels, and a very distinctive, aggressive front end that looked like a predatory fish. Underneath all that extreme styling, it was a fully working car with a strong V8 engine. While this specific concept car never went into full production exactly as it was shown, its striking and popular design was toned down slightly and directly used for the extremely successful 1968 Corvette. This shows how a daring and forward-thinking concept car could directly shape and inspire a very famous production car, making it a design icon that lived on for many years in showrooms. The 1966 Ford Mustang Mach-E concept was a sleek, fastback version of the Mustang that offered a glimpse into how the iconic pony car could look in the future. It was designed to be very sporty, featuring a sharply angled, rakish roofline and aggressive styling cues that screamed high performance. This wasn't just a static display model, it had a working engine and was often driven at major auto shows, proving its real-world capability. While the actual production Mach 1 that came out later was different in many details and overall execution, this bold concept laid important groundwork for Ford's ideas about high-performance Mustangs going forward. It proved that Ford was thinking big about the Mustang's future as a serious performance machine, influencing many designs and aspirations to come. The 1968 Dodge Charger 3 was a truly wild, wedge-shaped concept car that looked like something pulled straight from a science fiction movie or even a spacecraft. It had a very unusual flip-up roof for entry, making it unique, and a huge rear air brake, just like an airplane's, which was completely unheard of for a car. It was specifically designed to fit any of Dodge's powerful V8 engines, including the legendary and mighty 426 Hemi. This extreme car was never meant for mass production, as it was simply too radical, impractical, and costly for regular street use. Only one of these futuristic cars was ever built, making it an incredibly rare piece. It showed how incredibly creative and daring Dodge designers could be, pushing styling limits to the absolute extreme. The 1969 Chevrolet Astro 3 was a super sleek 3-seat concept car that explored radical future designs for personal transportation, moving far beyond typical car shapes. It had a very unique, sharp wedge shape that cut through the air, and it was actually tested with a gas turbine engine, though it could also be fitted with a conventional V8 engine for power. It was a bold experiment in advanced aerodynamics and how passengers might sit in a car in the future. While it was never mass-produced for the public, it clearly showed General Motors' willingness to try radically new and experimental things with its designs. Only one working example of this futuristic concept was ever built, making it a rare glimpse into future thinking from a company known for muscle cars, a true vision of what a sporty, high-tech American car could eventually become. The 1970 Ford Torino King Cobra was Ford's direct answer to the incredibly successful winged Dodge Daytona and Plymouth Superbird in NASCAR racing. It had a very long, aggressively sloped front end designed for superior airflow at incredibly high speeds on the superspeedways. It was specifically designed to fit the powerful Boss 429 engine, a true racing powerhouse. Ford actually built a few prototypes for racing, fully prepared to challenge the competition. However, NASCAR quickly changed its rules regarding aerodynamic cars, making these specialized aero cars much less competitive overnight. So the King Cobra never officially raced in a major series or went into mass production for the public. Only 3 incredibly rare prototypes were ever built, making it an exclusive racing prototype that got unfairly sidelined before its time due to rule changes. The 1970 AMC AMX-3 was an incredibly ambitious mid-engine sports car from American Motors, a smaller car company, designed with significant help from skilled Italian engineers. It had sleek, low-slung, and very European styling, looking quite unlike other American cars, and was actually meant for international racing. Despite its European looks, it packed a powerful American 390 cubic inch AMC V8 engine for serious performance. It was a very advanced and daring car for AMC. They only built 6 working prototypes before the entire project was sadly cancelled, mostly due to very high costs and rapidly changing market conditions. It was just too exotic and expensive for AMC to make in large numbers. It remains a fascinating what if from a smaller American car maker, a truly lost piece of performance history and a testament to ambition. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30 with the W43 experimental engine was a super special secret version of the already powerful 442 muscle car. Oldsmobile secretly developed a wild W43 experimental V8 engine that used 4 valves per cylinder, an advanced design for the time, and made over 600 horsepower, earning it the ominous nickname the Killer. Only 2 of these incredibly powerful engines were ever built, making them extremely rare. One of these unique engines was even quietly put into a 1970 Ford Galaxy 442 W30 car for private testing purposes. This engine was far too powerful, too complex, and too expensive for mass production or to fit within normal racing rules. It was a top secret project that barely saw the light of day, making it a legendary, almost mythical muscle car that very few people even knew existed, let alone got to see or hear. The 1971 Pontiac Firebird Type K concept was a sleek and very unusual wagon version of the popular Firebird Trans Am, often referred to as a shooting brake in the automotive world. It explored the bold idea of combining a sporty 2-door muscle car with the practicality of a wagon, adding more cargo space. It kept the strong performance and aggressive styling of the Firebird, but added a unique functional back end with a large rear hatch for more utility. Only 2 prototypes of this distinctive vehicle were built. It never went into production, mainly because the market wasn't ready for such a niche or unusual car that blended 2 very different segments. It was a wild idea that combined muscle car speed with surprising utility, showcasing Pontiac's adventurous and experimental spirit even as the traditional muscle car era was winding down. The 1973 Chevrolet Aerovette, originally known by its project names XP882 and XP895, was a mid-engine Corvette concept that General Motors worked on for many years, showing their long-term vision. It had dramatic gull-wing doors that opened upwards for a futuristic look and a very sleek aerodynamic body. It was designed to use either a new rotary engine, which was cutting edge at the time, or a traditional V8 engine for power. GM actually came very close to putting this car into production production, building several fully working prototypes over the years for extensive testing, but the project was ultimately canceled. It was the closest the Corvette ever got to being a mid-engine car for public sale, before the recent C8 generation, truly representing a long-held design dream and engineering ambition for Chevrolet. The 1977 Pontiac Trans Am 4-door concept took the iconic and usually 2-door Trans Am muscle car and surprisingly stretched it into a 4-door sedan. This was a bold and very unusual move, as Trans Ams were known for their sporty 2-door coupe body. It aimed to keep the aggressive, sporty look and performance feel of the Trans Am, but add more practicality and room for rear passengers. It was a truly experimental idea for a muscle car. Only one prototype of this stretched Trans Am was built for evaluation. It never saw production, as a 4-door Trans Am simply didn't fit the brand's established 2-door high-performance image. This concept was a strange and somewhat awkward mix of muscle car aggression and family sedan utility, a unique experiment that never quite found its proper place in the market. The 1988 Pontiac Banshee 4 was a very futuristic concept car that offered a strong hint at the design of the 4th generation Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am that would arrive years later. It had a sleek, sharp wedge shape, a cool glass roof panel for an open feel, and advanced digital gauges inside the cabin. It was a fully working prototype that had a V8 engine under the hood, while the production Firebird that eventually followed was a bit toned down and less radical in its styling. Many of the Banshee i4's key styling cues, like its pop-up headlights and overall body shape, made it directly into the showroom car. It was a true vision of the future that actually came true, showing how concepts can directly guide and influence the design of real production cars. The 1989 Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z concept, also known as the California Camaro, was a wild and very imaginative look at a future Camaro. It featured dramatic gull-wing doors that opened upwards, an aviation-inspired dashboard with many buttons and displays, and even a built-in vacuum cleaner for quick interior tidying. Interestingly, it was powered by a V6 engine, not a V8, which was a big departure for a performance Camaro. Chevrolet never built it this way for mass production, partly because of the complex gull-wing doors and that very unusual vacuum, but its overall shape and some styling elements did influence the 4th generation Camaro. It was a very strange mix of high-tech ideas, some good and some quirky, that still managed to shape a real production car. The 2004 Ford Shelby GR1 was a truly stunning concept car that instantly captivated audiences. It looked like a very modern and futuristic version of the classic Shelby Daytona Coupe, a legendary racing car from the past. It featured a powerful all-aluminum V10 engine, making over 600 horsepower, giving it incredible performance potential and a fantastic sound. It was a fully functional car that was prominently shown at major auto shows around the world. Many car enthusiasts and the public strongly wanted Ford to build it because of its incredible beauty and raw power, but it unfortunately never made it to production. It was a beautiful and powerful idea that stayed as a concept, a lost gem for car lovers who wish they could buy one. The 2006 Dodge Challenger concept was a clear and exciting preview of the modern Challenger that we know today, and it caused a huge stir when it was first shown to the public. It looked very much like the classic 1970 Challenger, hitting all the right nostalgic notes for fans, but with updated modern technology and a powerful Hemi V8 engine under its hood. When Dodge showed this concept, the public reaction was overwhelmingly positive and enthusiastic. This strong positive feedback led Dodge to basically build the car as is, changing very little for production. It showed that sometimes the best concept is just a slightly updated and improved version of a beloved classic, which this car did perfectly, bringing an icon back to life. The 2008 Pontiac G8 GXP concept was a more aggressive and high-performance version of the G8 sedan, which itself was already a powerful rear-wheel drive car. The GXP concept hinted at a much higher performance production model, pushing the limits of the G8's capabilities even further. It featured a more powerful V8 engine and sportier styling cues like unique wheels, special body kits, and upgraded brakes. This concept actually did lead to a real production version, the G8 GXP, PA, which was made in very limited numbers and is now highly sought after by car enthusiasts. It showed that even late in Pontiac's history, they were still building serious, powerful performance sedans, successfully bringing a concept of raw power to reality. The 2009 Chevrolet Camaro concept was the car that single-handedly brought the famous Camaro nameplate back to life after a long break from production. It was a direct callback to the classic first-generation Camaro from the 1960s, but with a modern look and feel, perfectly blending old-school style with new technology. It was powered by a strong V8 engine. The public response to this concept was absolutely huge and incredibly enthusiastic, showing a strong demand for the Camaro's return. This widespread positive feedback led Chevrolet to greenlight its production with very few changes from the original concept design. This concept was all about nostalgia and bringing back a beloved name, and it did so perfectly, becoming one of the most popular muscle cars of its time. The 2015 Chevrolet Corvette C7R concept was essentially a street-legal version of Chevrolet's Le Mans winning race car, directly translating cutting-edge race technology to a road-going vehicle. It had an incredibly aggressive wide-body kit, massive tires for maximum grip, and a powerful V8 engine under the hood, making it look and perform like a true race car. While it was mainly a race car for competition, Chevrolet made a very limited number of special road-going versions called the C7R edition, blurring the lines between race and street. It offered true race-bred performance to the street, showing how closely linked Corvette's racing efforts were to its high-performance street cars, a dream for any track enthusiast and collector. The 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon concept was actually a very extreme production car. While it wasn't a concept in the traditional sense of being a design study that might or might not get built, its radical performance and wild look were so over the top that it definitely felt like one. It was designed to be the fastest quarter-mile production car ever made, boasting over 800 horsepower and specialized drag racing features. It was made in limited numbers, emphasizing its extreme nature and exclusivity, making it instantly iconic. This car pushed the boundaries of what a street-legal car could be so much. It was almost too wild for the average street, feeling more like a concept that somehow slipped right into full production, shocking everyone with its raw power. These 20 cars show how designers and engineers dreamed big and pushed the limits of what was possible. Some were wild visions of the future, some brought back old favorites with a modern twist, and some were just too extreme or unusual for the world at large. But they all got built, proving that even the craziest ideas can sometimes become real. They are a true testament to the daring spirit of American muscle cars and the constant drive to push boundaries in automotive design and performance.